Unique, New York.
Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Also, find our Overflow podcast channel wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Packer Fan Total Access. It is February the 16th. We are awaiting contract restructures if they happen. And keep in mind, if we don't see any contract restructure news break as we inch closer towards free agency, it might be just a cut and move on type of thing, rather than keeping some guys around like a Rashawn Gary, Elton Jenkins, maybe even potentially an Aaron Banks. We'll see how everything kind of falls into place, but this is usually that time frame where you get the contract restructures taking place, at least for the Green Bay Packers current model. You didn't see a whole lot, if any, last year. I think one or two might have snuck under the radar, but boy, in prior years, they would fire out this time of year. So today what we're going to do is we're going to dive into a complete offseason mock. I've been wanting to do this for a couple of weeks now with the guys. We're going to clean up the cap in segment one here, okay? What we're going to do is go through and talk about restructuring contracts, talk about potential cuts, free up some cap space. Then we're going to dive into free agency. We're going to start with re-signing the players we want to keep on the Green Bay Packers roster, and then go into free agency and try to find one or two gems there to fill out the roster and bolster some of the weak spots. Then we're going to dive right into a mock draft. Then we'll just hang out with the chat afterwards. So that's what we got going on this morning. Before we get into it, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your morning. We are not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you, talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for that type of content, hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell icon so you catch everything we do here live moving forward. We got Tim joining us here from Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin as well to help me kind of sift through this information and see how we can fix this Packers roster. How y'all doing today, boys?
Very nice.
Waiting for the official PTA mug of diesel to kick in and get caffeinated. Let's do it.
All right, there you go. Let's get into it. Let's jump in. Waste no time. First segment is going to be cap management step one. And again, I want to give a shout out to Stick to the Model. Okay, Stick to the Model is the website we're using. I've been in communication with them. Awesome people over there, and they're excited for us to be out here sharing their product. And I know we're excited to have such a cool tool to use here in the off season for us Packer fans. I apologize for the ads. Nothing I can do there. We are subscribed to their service and everything, but we may have to deal with a couple of advertisements there along the way, but we'll figure it out as we go. So first things first, guys, how do you feel about the roster right out of the gate? Like what do we want to do here? What do we want to accomplish? Because again, with cap management, you've got the entire roster here that we can scroll through. It shows the cap hit on the right. We can restructure, we can cut, we can slap the franchise tag on the guys that are scheduled to be free agents. Now, when you look at the pending free agents, that's these cats right here. I feel like that's where we probably need to start with cleaning up the cap. We're negative 1.4 in terms of cap space. So 1.4 million over the cap right now. Some of the pending free agents are Romeo Doubs, who's projected to be $25 million per, Rasheed Walker, $14 million, Quay Walker, $11 million, Kingsley Enagbare, $8 million, Trayvon Diggs, $5.8, Emmanuel Wilson, $4.2. Keep in mind, Trayvon Diggs is actually an unrestricted free agent. They've still got him on the roster. It works the same way. We can re-sign him or sign him in free agency either way. Emmanuel Wilson is a pending unrestricted free agent as well. It's showing here. Josh Wiley, Jonathan Ford, Bo Melton, Sean Ryan, Darian Kennard, Brenton Cox Jr. Mm-hmm. Now, some of these are listed as unrestricted free agents. Keep in mind, some of them are actually restricted free agents. So we can keep those guys around if we wanted to. But again, I think we should start with the cap management side. Is there anybody that you could think of right now we're going, man, the cap hit is way too much. We got to either adjust it or get rid of them. Let's start at that point. Jacob, how do you feel? Is there anybody that comes to mind? I know we've talked Elton Jenkins, Aaron.
I'd say Rashawn for me.
For you, it's Rashawn. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Tim? Is there a name that's at the top of the list for you, man?
Yeah, Jacob stole it. I was going to say Bane Gary. So we're tied. That would be my first first order of business would be to let's get Rashawn restructured here.
Got it. All right. So you're thinking in terms of a restructure. Jacob, what do you think? Are you thinking cut outright or restructure possibly?
I think we could start with a restructure, and if it doesn't seem like it's worth it, I would be unfortunately okay with a full-on cut.
Got it. Okay. So they keep this pretty vanilla. All right. The way this works is you can do a standard restructure, and it's basically spread out the cap hit over the remaining 2 years of his contract. That's going to free up $8.4 million. That's essentially just kicking the can down the road. Now, we can't restructure in a way of getting a pay cut. I think we would all agree that's what we're talking about here, right? Is to try to shave some money in terms of a pay cut, and then just be able to move that money around that we do convert to signing bonus. So 8.4 for a standard, or we could tack on a void year and free up 11.2. If we go void year, it's obviously you're kicking the can down the road. You spread it over 3 years. It adds one void year in which he won't be on the roster. But that's probably the closest thing we would have to an actual to simulate a pay cut, because we're not going beyond 1 year. So if we do go with the one void year there, it would be 11.2 freed up. So we're saying keep Bain and move the money around, and this will kind of simulate a pay cut scenario, correct?
I'm cool with that.
All right, let's do it. Let's go with the 11.2 restructure. So now you can see we are 9.8. Actually, let's take down our sign up there. It's always in the way. 9.8 million over the cap now. If you can see up here in the upper right up here, okay? So I'm sorry, we're under the cap now, $9.8 million. Who would be next on the list? Because for me, the big one that's looming is Elton Jenkins. Do you guys agree with that, or do y'all just want to keep Elton kind of where we're at?
I agree.
Tim, how about you, buddy?
You're saying cut out, right?
I'm just saying in general, what do you want to do with Elton?
I mean, we could take the same approach if there's a way to,
restructure
restructure him, I guess.
Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem with Elton, Tim. With Elton Jenkins, there's only 1 year left on his deal. So there's no standard restructure. We would have to tack on 2 voidable years and move that money down the line. So this is one that there's really no way to simulate a pay cut here in this one, to be honest with you. So
we might just have to cut him outright.
Yeah, I mean, what you're looking at is a $24 million cap hit. And if we cut him outright, we're going to free up $19.5 million, essentially. Is what
Golly, I think I got to cut him if it's me.
It's either cut him. Let's assume he won't take a pay cut. I mean, he did a hold in last year, right?
Yeah.
He did a hold in because they wanted to because he wanted to prevent this point that we're at right now during camp last year. So he did a hold in to the point where, like, no, I'm not touching this contract. I don't think there's a scenario where he's going to come out this year and go, yeah, guys, I'll take a pay cut. He's probably going to say, pay me or cut me loose, I would imagine. So, again, if we leave it alone, he's going to be $24.8 million against the cap. That's tackle money, to be honest.
You know, likey that, Jan.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. So I think we agree. Cut Elton. Is that what we're thinking here?
Yeah, unfortunately.
All right, so we're going to cut Elton, and maybe we can find him in free agency. I don't know if it'll allow us to do that. We can take a peek and see what his value is. I would like to know what they've got him valued out here in their free agency. So now you cut Elton.
Why don't you cut Glover real quick, too, and then see if we can wake Emilio up.
So, all right, when you go back to the overall roster here in terms of cap hit, let's sort by cap savings would probably be the best way to do it. So again, Gary's going to be there at the top. Another one here on this list is our boy Josh Jacobs. Now, keep in mind, we're $29.3 million under the cap at the moment. Okay, so we got plenty of room to play with here, but we got some players that we want to re-sign as well. Next on the list for me would be Aaron Banks. How do we feel about Aaron Banks? Do we want to keep him around or not? And the reason I ask is, if you try to simulate some kind of a restructure, you could see this gets very, very interesting here on how many years you want to add on to it or extend him. I don't want to play around with that too much, to be honest with you. I kind of feel like with Aaron Banks, it's you either cut him outright now and free up. What was that?
I don't know.
Did you hear that, Tim?
Yeah, what the heck was that?
Did we just get bombed or something? That sounded like an emergency broadcast system, didn't it? That was really strange.
Apparently, we're not cutting Aaron Banks.
Right. We know Aaron's watching this morning. No, but when you look at this, if we cut him pre-June 1, it's going to be 4.2 million, okay, is what you free up. If you go post-June 1, you're freeing up 17.7. Well, you're going to, post-June 1 cut, you're going to free up a lot more money here, okay? Essentially, you're going to save 17.7 million against the cap. So my question, I guess, is, again, he's right there where our boy was at 24 point. I think he set at 24.8 million was the early projection for a cap hit for Aaron Banks too. I think we all agree we don't want him at 24.8 against the cap, right?
No.
Yes.
So if that's the approach, then now we got to ask ourselves, do we just want to eat the cap penalty now, or go a post-June 1, carry his cap until June 1, and then he comes off the books, and now you've got an extra 17.7 million. I think post-June 1 is what we've done to this point. Does anybody disagree with that approach?
To me, it makes sense. We post June 1 try to use some of that money in the offseason and get some free agents in here. The only thing that bothers me is if we lose Alton and we lose Banks on a line that was definitely, I think, one of our glaring needs. I think we definitely have to address it in free agency and the draft pretty heavy, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with that.
Well, we're just going to take Emilio's plan and draft the entire Iowa offensive line, right?
Well, and plus Glover will be back ready to go, so I guess that is true.
Glover's going to be like the old Bugs Bunny cartoon where he was playing center field, shortstop, pitcher, everything.
Yeah,
they're gonna have Glover play center. He's going to play left tackle. He's going to bounce out the tight end occasionally. That's how Emilio sees Travis Glover. So
that's a really good point, though, Jacob. Considering that we just got rid of Big E. We really have to make a smart move when it comes to Banks.
And who knows what's going to happen with Sheed. So, that's a whole new revamping on that offensive line, which, again, I think I'm okay with. But,
yeah, I think I agree. I would go post-June 1 for Banks.
Let's do it. All right, so we're going to go post-June 1 cut. Now they're showing $47 million in cap space. We got plenty of money to do what we want to do. Now, another couple of restructures you could do to free up extra room, okay, is Josh Jacobs. All right, Josh Jacobs is one that's interesting. Again, we're not interested. I think we all agree we want Josh Jacobs on the roster, right?
Yep.
So if we do a simple restructure and just spread it out over the remaining 2 years, we could free up another 4.5 right now if we felt like we needed it. I feel like we're in a spot where we don't necessarily need it, though. Do you guys agree with that? I mean, we've got $47 million in cap space going into free agency. I feel good about where we're at there. So just keep in mind, that's one you can potentially do. You can free up a little bit more money with Xavier McKinney. I know a lot of people want Keyshawn Nixon gone. As bad as I was frustrated with him last year, the reality is you're only freeing up $4.8 million against the cap if you cut him. So kind of feel like keep him around, build that cornerback room up, and if he's your third or fourth best corner, then I feel better about that scenario rather than just cutting him outright just to free up $4.8 million. Now, we'll see what obviously the team does. But now let's get into down here at the bottom some of these players that we want to extend. Again, the bottom of the roster guys, let's just kind of leave alone. There's no reason to have to extend them. We know some of these restricted free agents that aren't listed as such on this website, we're going to be able to get back. But like a Trayvon Diggs, we'll get first crack at him. Or would you guys rather see free agency in general? I think I'd rather see the cornerback room in free agency before we sign Trayvon Diggs. Do y'all agree, seeing that we got $49 million in cap?
I agree.
All right, cool. So is there anybody here you want to re-sign at the number they got? Quay Walker's one we talked about. They're showing him at $11.9 million. So I know that's out of my range, but if both of you guys agree we should sign him at 11.9, we'll do it.
What would you guys think about Emmanuel Wilson for 4.2? That kind of...
It's interesting, man, because, again, I don't think he's actually an unrestricted free agent. I want to say we've still got his rights, I believe. I could be wrong there. You guys double-check that. But if you want to try to do it and extend him, we could go that route. Man, that's showing new money 13.2. And I haven't messed with this too much on their site because, again, some of these guys that you're looking to extend, it gets a little bit wonky in here and how you do it. But I'd be okay with trying it, Jacob, if you want to, or we could just wait till we get to free agency. Either way,
I'd say maybe let's wait before. Yeah.
Sean Ryan's one that we've done in the past. Of course, they won't allow us to re-sign him. Okay, so I think what these are is pending free agents. It's wrongly tagged unrestricted free agent. That when you give them an offer, maybe you get a chance to counter it in restricted free agency, possibly. So
if that Malik Willis number holds true, let's sign that dude up.
And see, that's the thing is like that's showing his previous average. So that's what he was making before. and it's not giving us the option to extend him right now. They're kind of forcing him into free agency because he's probably going to get the bag, right?
Yeah.
So all right. So do we feel good about where we're at heading into free agency with the restructures we did?
Got 47 mil.
Yeah,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Should be able to get us Mr. Linderbaum.
Yeah, there you
Kind
go.
of money.
You plenty of money, right? So, quick recap of what we did here, guys. Elton Jenkins and Aaron Banks, we decided we're moving on. Okay. We freed up a significant amount of cap money there. We restructured Gary, essentially saying it's going to show it as we just did a simple restructure. And honestly, what we're kind of simulating here is him taking a pay cut, us guaranteeing a little bit more money and keeping Gary around. I understand there's a significant portion of the fan base that would say, nope, don't want him on a roster, want to cut him outright. I disagree with that. I think the guys do too. So we're going to move forward with Bang Gary still on the roster as it sits right now. Okay. So we will see. And again, we could probably free up more money than we did there with Gary if he did take a pay cut. Right. But that's just all we got to kind of work with right now, rather than just cutting him outright. Because to me, that's a little bit more of a boring approach. So there you go. There's your restructure period. Cleaning up the cap. We went from being almost $2 million over the cap to $47 million under the cap now. All right. So the moves, we cut Elton Jenkins, we cut Aaron Banks, we restructured Rashawn Gary. We're off and running with $47 million to play with in free agency. So if you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments. What do you think about those restructures? How do you feel about how the cap space shook out? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, click the bell icon for us. We would greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, let's move on to free agency. Now we go. Now it gets real. There's going to be a trade segment here. Is he going to let me go for it? I think it will. Yeah. Maybe it won't. We may be stuck here. So is it forcing us to make decisions on these guys? It looks like it might be. That's interesting. All right, so we may have to go through and cut these guys at the bottom possibly because we're under the cap. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. You see of course, I don't. Oh, here we go. It was just the ad that was covering it up. They got a click from me. Boom. All right, so trading. There's going to be trading offers here. You guys know how I roll with this stuff. Trades are so hard to hammer down and this and that. It's being so unrealistic to go, I'm going to go grab this guy and that guy and this guy. It's cool. Go play Madden. But I just try not to approach it this way. So let's go into free agency now. So here we go. Here's the restricted free agent tenders. All right. How much would you be willing to be on the hook for these guys is what it comes down to. Okay. So let's get into it. First one at the top of the list, Darian Kennard. Reality is he was one of our better offensive linemen last year, believe it or not. His restricted free agent tender is sitting at $3.5 million, is the cheapest one. Okay, you can go 3.5, you can go 5.8. That's a second round tender or a first round tender at 8.1. Essentially what this means is you're going to be on the hook for paying for those players, right? And if another team outbids you at the 5.8 mark, then you get a second round pick in return. It turns into a trade. Does that make sense? So let's go through with the numbers. Darian Kennard, $3.5 million, yes or no to keep him?
I don't mind I wouldn't mind having him, especially if we do lose Elton, if we do lose Banks, if we do lose Walker. He had a 69.4 overall grade with a 73.6 pass blocking grade, which doesn't sound great, but I tell you what, that's not bad this day and age, especially like I said, if we're in such dire straits with that bench. Personally, I don't think 3.5 is too much to ask for that.
All right, Tim, how about you, man? How you feel about it?
I agree. We already have depth issues on that line as it is, and assuming working this model that we're working now, we just got rid of two guys, so I'm down with keeping Kennard for sure.
Right. And it looks like everybody in the chat agrees too, right? Completely agree. He was a very valuable piece to that offensive line that struggled, obviously. All right, next is Aaron Mosby at 3.5. That one's a no for me personally.
Yeah, I like Mosby, but not at that number.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, next is Josh Wiley, and it's showing. Is it showing that already clicked? It ain't showing. That's weird. It's like it's only giving us an option for a second round tender at 5.8 or none. Make him an unrestricted free agent. I think I'd have to go none as opposed to 5.8 for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And then he tests the market. You could still maybe get him, right?
Oh, so that's it. They already had him checked is what it was. Okay, cool. So Josh Wiley, we can do for 3.5. Again, that's probably let him test the market.
The market.
Yep. And I liked Wiley. I thought he was a good addition. I really did. Again, you're just getting to that point where if you go through and hit all these backup players with restricted free agent tenders, you're gonna shave your cap down really, really quick, right? So we went with Kennard. We're skipping on Mosby, skipping on Wiley, Jacobs, sir, Brent Cox, 3.5 million, sir. You have the floor. You have the floor.
All right. Now I know you guys may think that I'm a little biased here, but I really do think, yes, for Cox, I really do think that if we could throw a second round tender on him, I'm okay with the 5. Is that 5.8?
Really, 5.8? Okay, second round tender for Brent Cox.
I would, just because if we're going to lose Mosby, depending on if we're going to not re-sign Enigbare, depending on if Mike is back healthy. Obviously, we know Gary's been up and down, and then LDN, same kind of thing. So it's like I think that he's deserving of it. I mean, 5.8 is kind of a drop in the bucket, in my opinion. I mean, otherwise, I am cool with just 3.5, but I don't know.
Here's the problem.
That's where I'd be.
If you would do it too, Tim,
I'd be more in the 3.5 range for him.
So,
and we got to remember, he didn't play a lot of football for us last year. You know, it's been dealing with injury.
Here's the thing, Jacob, with that second round tender. That's in your mind. You've got to be thinking, okay, someone's willing to trade a third round pick for him because that's a second round tender. So are you saying that if we did sign him to a 3.5 million, someone would offer us a draft pick for him because essentially if they outbid us, they have to give up a draft pick. Is that what you're saying? You do think that would happen?
I think it's possible. All right. I'll go down to the 3.5 because honestly, if we could get just a draft pick for him, I think that'd show that the whole process from him being drafted as a UDFA to where he's at now was a winner.
Right. Yeah.
I just want Brenton Cox's name to go down people's mouths smooth. You know what I mean?
Understood. So we're going to bring back Brenton Cox Jr. At a 3.5 million. Emmanuel Wilson, 3.5 million. That's an interesting one. That really, really is an interesting one. And we're starting to eat into that cap a little bit. It's not showing us the total right now, but you can see how this will trickle down really, really quick, right? Really quick. So Brenton Cox Jr. we got. Emmanuel Wilson would be 3.5 million. To me, he underperformed last year, to be 100% honest. He wasn't as good as he'd been in the past, but boy, oh boy, in the past, he had been excellent, you know, and we all agree the offensive line was the problem with the running game last year. So it's real tricky. Now, you've also got Marshawn Lloyd, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. At the same time, I think we got our boy from Miami. He's on the roster as well. What's the kid that we signed that we were real high on? He was in the draft last year. We actually had I want to say it was like a 120-ish grade on him. Damian Martinez, is that who it was? I'm trying to think. He came from the University of Miami. Anyway, he's a solid backup as well. So, Tim, Emmanuel Wilson's kind of your guy, man. I'm gonna leave it to you here to start the conversation. Would you want to put a 3.5 on him, a 5.8 on him, or just nothing and kind of move forward?
My heart says 3.5. My brain says let him test the market. Unfortunately. You know,
I agree.
It's just kind of where I'm at. No disrespect. I love E. Wilson. Good teammate, good player. But I don't know if we can afford to eat up any more cap, you know, the way things are looking right now.
Yeah, and when you look at the whole situation there with Brenton Cox Jr., if we had said no to Brenton Cox Jr., I would be okay with saying yes to Emmanuel Wilson. But it kind of comes down to one of those two players that we got to choose from, you know. So for me, I think it would be none as well. Jacob, do you agree or disagree with that, man?
I do agree, I think, just because I believe running back, it feels like you can get a guy off the street kind of from anywhere at any time. The only thing that I would caution is that if we scroll down again, we'll see Chris Brooks here as well. So that running back room is basically Josh Jacobs. And if you trust Marshawn Lloyd in any capacity, you know, that'd pretty much be it.
Damian Martinez. Yeah.
And Martinez. I'm okay with that because, like I said, I just think we're good at drafting and developing and being able to find free agents off the street. So as much as I love E. Wilson and Chris Brooks, I think that I'm willing to, like Tim said, I'm watching that dollar sign go up and that.
Yeah.
Right.
And Chris Brooks is like, you know, he brings more value really in pass pro, right? You know, he's not really carrying the ball as much as, you know, Emmanuel Wilson carried the ball for us. So we're just looking at running back depth here. So I think it's a great point, Jacob.
Yeah. And right down the stretch here, just rapid fire. Jonathan Ford at defensive tackle, 3.5 million. That's a no for me. Zane Anderson, I like as a football player, but man, the guy can't stay healthy. You know, 3.5 million. That's a little rich for me. And then Chris Brooks, if there's one of the running backs that you would hit with, I know they love Chris Brooks and pass protection, and he is kind of our pass protecting back. That would make more sense to me than Emmanuel Wilson. However, we know Emmanuel Wilson's a better running back with the ball in his hand. But overall, Chris Brooks is probably the better back to fit Matt LaFleur's scheme and his system. It's tough to watch him walk as well, but I can't justify $3.5 million for him.
Yeah.
So I think we've got to the point where, we're good. So again, quick recap: we're going to hit Darian Kennard with the $3.5 million tender, and we're going to hit Brenton Cox Jr. with the $3.5 million tender. So we just lost $7 million. Now I almost want to go back to the Josh Jacobs contract and go ahead and get that $4.5 million. You know what I mean? They probably will do that, to be honest with you. They'll do something there. So if we confirm those tenders, hopefully this don't screw everything up. But if I go back, I'm going to see if we can go back and do that actually. Because, it's not going to show the current roster. Let me see if I can bounce back real quick in real time. I don't think it'll screw anything up. And now let's go back to the Josh Jacobs restructure. We're just going to do that simple restructure there at 4.5. Free that up.
Ew.
Let's see if everything stayed in place. It did. All right, cool.
Nice.
So
The
there you go.
The site is so cool, man.
It really is. They've done a great job. But again, you guys can check this out and do your own offseason at sticktothemodel.com. Excellent, excellent tool. So now we are in free agency. It's going to show our free agents first and an opportunity to re-sign those players. Okay. The one on the list that really piques my interest the most is Sean Ryan. Now, you bring back Darian Kennard, backup caliber player who, when he started, he played pretty damn good, right? Collectively speaking, across our offensive line, I guess you could say. Sean Ryan, I think, is very, very valuable depending on the price. Okay, so I'm going to start with Sean Ryan. If we go to re-sign him, we can basically go we could go a 1-year deal at $2.3 million per. To me, he's well worth that money if you can get him at that price. I would actually try to give him a 3-year deal at $2.3 million per. How do you feel about that, Jacob? What do you think about $2.3 million a year? If he's willing to accept that, he may ask for a little bit more, because the number I've kind of got on him is like anything less than 5. I think Sean Ryan's valuable enough that, man, this guy can be your backup center. He's going to compete for starting guard job. He's one of your better run blockers, believe it or not. He's just not that good at pass blocking. So what do you think, man?
In a normal situation, if we had a healthy offensive line, I'd say walk away. Sorry, buddy. But being, again, that in this scenario, we've let Jenkins go. We've let Banks go. We probably are going to lose Sheed. So to me, again, we need to try to patch together this offensive line for 2.3 per. Like you said, a guy that's shown that he can play the center position, play both guards, and it's pretty sturdy and stout. And it does seem like he's playing his best football as of late. And he's still a younger guy. 26. I'm all
hell of
for
a
it.
wrestler too.
Right. I've heard that. That's where I would go. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go a 3-year deal, but like you said, it makes sense, because what a 3-year deal is usually a 2, which means we could probably get rid of him. I mean, would you even think about just giving him a 1-year patch it deal? But I'd
be okay with that. I'm good with it. Yeah, I definitely want him on the roster. I think he's valuable enough at that price. If we can get him at that, again, I would be willing to go as high as like $4 million. So we should be able to get him. But what do you think, Tim? Would you rather do a 1, 2, or a 3-year deal for Sean Ryan here?
I'm somewhere in the middle, probably a 2-year.
2. All right, let's meet in the middle. Let's go 2 and see if he'll take $2.3 million per. And he did. So there you go. We're bringing back Sean Ryan. I think that's a great addition there, to be honest with you. So now you're getting into some it's showing the restricted free agents again here. So we have an opportunity to try to re-sign those guys as opposed to hitting them with the tender. So I kind of wish we would have held off. We could probably, no, we can't bounce back now because the decision's already made. So now when we do this model moving forward, we know that you can actually go to and still have an opportunity to re-sign them at market value, as opposed to it's almost like a mini franchise tag when you tag them with that, and it kind of secures their rights. But obviously decision's already made. We're $42.2 million under the cap, so we're in good shape there. Do y'all want to try to re-sign Josh Wiley? And do y'all remember the injury situation? When is he due back? When is Tim, was he the one? I'm trying to remember.
No, that was Fitzpatrick. I thought Fitzpatrick had the injury, right? Correct?
I know Josh Wiley had the concussion. Let's see here real quick.
I thought one of them, Wiley, did he get injured that last game too?
There was something I thought. Yeah, here we go. As of late, let's see. Concussion was cleared for week 17. Injury status cleared to return as of January 8th. So that was the last news we heard. He was expected to play in week 17. So I don't know if anything happened.
I think it's Fitzpatrick with the knee is the guy we're thinking of. Yeah.
So how do y'all feel about bringing Wiley back for the right price, and what would that price be? They're showing his market value at $3.4 million. That's pretty rich, though, isn't it?
To me, I feel like that's a little too much for me.
Okay. I agree. And maybe, be a situation where the Packers let him go in the free agency. We picked him up off the scrap heap. So maybe the rest of the league doesn't see him as valuable as us. We could get him at a minimum. Right. So next on the list, exclusive rights, all that stuff. Do we want to retain these guys? And listen, it's going to be 1 million per. It's a league minimum. These make a ton of sense. This is where you're getting into the exclusive rights free agents. You're probably going to want a lot of these guys. Bo Melton at 1 million. I think so.
Bring him.
So we're going to retain him. Bang.
I kind of feel the same. Sorry, I was going to say the same about Jennings. I just feel like he hasn't gotten a shot.
Okay.
We need that depth. Guys that know what they're doing.
How about Kamal Hadden?
Kamal Hadden. Prayers up for Kamal Hadden. Hopefully the recovery is going well. Rehab is going well.
There's no chance he's going to be ready, like probably at least till halfway through the season, right, Tim? I mean, that thing was demolished, they say, unfortunately. Yeah. So this is – see, we're experiencing the sucky part of the business right now, guys. Like we're sitting there going, sorry, Kamal, tough luck. So just remember these moments when these guys who haven't been making hardly anything, when they try to hold out because they had a really good year and they want to get a little guaranteed money, a little security. This is what we're talking about. This is the situation. It sucks, man. So, but yeah, we definitely got to move on. If we go to re-sign Malik Willis, they're saying $2 million per. We can't treat that realistic, right? So, so some of these other players up here, Romeo Dobbs, obviously we're not going to sign him at $20 million. Quay Walker at 11. Do we agree that's too high, or are you guys willing to go up to $11 million?
No, I'm not, at least.
Okay, what about you, Tim? What's the number you put on him? I know we've kind of fluctuated throughout the year here.
I've always said under 10, and I don't think Quay is going to take that, and I think he'll probably get that somewhere else. That 8 to 10 range would make more sense keeping Quay around, just from a business standpoint, I think.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so Quay Walker let walk. Rasheed Walker, they're showing him at 13.8. The market value is anywhere from 20 to 24, so that's a little bit unrealistic. We'll try to keep these numbers realistic. Kingsley Nibari is showing 8.5 on several sites. I can't do it. Again, I think people think he played better than he actually did. When you look at all the metrics, the numbers, and everything, there was times he made flashy plays. I would love to have him back at 3 million or something like that, but 8.5, got to let him test the market. Trayvon Diggs at 5.4. What do you guys think about this number right here? Would you want Trayvon Diggs back at 5.4 million? Again, he's actually a free agent, but we have to simulate that process at this stage right here because Stick to the Model actually has him currently on the roster.
I don't know, Tim. That's an interesting one for me. I mean,
he's already, we brought him here for a reason, right? My question is, if he tests the market, is he a guy that we think is just going to get snatched up immediately? Or is he going to test the market and we get a chance to maybe get him at a little bit of a discount? What do you think?
I think this is the best simulation we're going to get on the discount thing, Tim. What I'm worried about with this model, at this point, I've never let him walk, so I don't know if we'll be able to nab him in free agency or if they'll just treat it like, okay, he's not interested in signing with you right now. So we probably need to treat it as such right now, like, do we want him back or not? Just kind of keep it simple. At 5.4 million is the number it's showing. So that's the true question. Is it worth it to bring him back at 5.4 million, or do we just let him walk in free agency and go sign other cornerback?
I think it might be worth it to keep him then.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, his previous average annual value is 19 million per. His market value is showing 10 million. Now some sites are showing 2 million. So 5.4 is definitely somewhere in the middle. I'd be okay with bringing him back at that price after the cap signing. Obviously, it's gonna put you at 34.8 million.
Or do we go 1 year and we just?
I was gonna say maybe do a prove it deal again.
Year. Yeah.
Regardless,
he would sign a 1 year.
Yeah, he probably on this he would for sure. Yeah. So if you're just saying a 1 year patch it at 5.4, is that right?
It's the same thing for the cap hit this year, right? So
yeah, the cap hit does not change. They've got it very just generalized in terms of how it spreads out. So we'll go 1 year, 5.4 million. Is that correct?
Yeah, I like what J. Cole said. That Diggs can be the vet presence in the cornerback room.
Yeah,
definitely need that.
To me, this is the
man his money
equivalent to the Sean Ryan signing. It's like, okay, you kind of really, I mean, I think he's going to be cornerback day one, to be honest with you. So it's a lot different than Sean Ryan, I guess you could say. But again, you're kind of building that floor. We're not saying he's the answer to the cornerback room, but I think that's a good signing. So, all right, 1 year, 5.4, that is confirmed. So I think we've kind of gotten through them, right, for the most part. You got some of these other guys too down here. Malik Willis, we're not going to touch. Clayton Tune, we're not going to touch. John Fitzpatrick's got the knee. Christian Welch is one you could get back at about 1.1 million if you wanted him. Emmanuel Wilson's reached. Remember, he's restricted. We decided to pass on him, right? So now we can see how much we can get him for. They're showing him at 4.2 million value. So that's just too much for us, right? So if we tried to lower it down to the number we think he'd be worth, let's keep it under 3 million. Would y'all want him at 3 million?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. He's probably going to say no. Let's see what happens. Let's go 3-year, 2.9 million. Yeah, he said, get out of my face. Now, you can force it if you want to, if you feel like that's his actual market value. We're not going to do that here, okay? Lasita Smith, that's an interesting one. $1 million. I mean, he was a fourth-string center. It's tough.
I think we still pass on him.
All right. Got it. Nick Nyman, there's Zane Anderson. Zane Anderson, now they're showing we can get at 1.4. Do y'all feel better about that? No, it's pretty good. Pretty good deal, I think.
Honestly, because isn't there talks that Mr. Gannon likes to do 3 safeties and all that kind of jazz?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think, Tim? Would you give 1.4 for Zane Anderson?
Yeah, I would.
All right, let's do it. 1.4 for Zane Anderson. I think, everybody likes Zane. Zane's a good football player. It's just he hasn't been able to stay on the field. It's the only thing that sucks. And you're not tying up a whole lot of money there. So, all right, we get him back at 1.4. So now we're ready. Well, there's Chris Brooks. We kind of talked about Chris Brooks. 1 million is his market value.
All right, you got it. You got to bring him back.
No brainer. And it's setting it at 3. We'll go 3, even though we're just walking through 1 year. Tim, you agree? Chris Brooks worth 1 million?
I think so. Yeah. Especially if we're probably not going to get E. Wilson, right?
Yep. Absolutely. All right. So there is your re-sign period. Okay. So obviously we can't recap the whole thing there, but we kept several players that are on the roster. You can see where the deals were. Let us know in the comments. You're watching this back later. How do you feel about the re-sign period? Is there a player that maybe you wanted us to keep that you disagree with? We let walk. Maybe you disagree with one of the players that we chose to keep. You thought, hey, let's let him hit free agency. Let us know in the comments how you feel. Hit that like button for us. Hit subscribe. Click the bell icon as we roll through this offseason model here. All right, now we're getting into free agency. The fun begins. I've got my cheat sheet ready. Do you guys got any crushes that y'all want to look at here? Terms of
anyone who plays on the offensive line.
Linderbaum.
There you go. All right, so when we look at free agency, this is going to be a little bit tricky. We could search by name. We could go by position. So I think we all agree. Let's start with offensive line, right? So we're letting Rasheed Walker walk. Lasita Smith, we're also letting him walk. We could get him at 1 million per. Now, keep in mind that 1 million, you could cut him outright too, if you know what I mean. It's not like there's any guaranteed money in that regard. So we could always grab him if we wanted. But when you're looking at some of these free agents, they're not going to be in any particular order, unfortunately. There's Tyler Linderbaum. They're showing him at $11 million. Okay. Now listen, that is very unrealistic. So we're going to force ourselves to play this realistic. People are saying 16 to 22 million is what his market value is going to be. My question to you guys is, what would be the maximum number you put on Linderbaum if he is your top free agent here?
18 milli per.
Jacob's cheap ass. Oh,
I go 15.
You go 15?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So Jacob says 15. Tim says 18. Let's get as close to that in the middle as we can. We're going to say 17 million. Okay. I would definitely sign him for 17 million personally. I think he's well worth the money. We're going to have to settle on 17.1 because I'm about to pull my eyeballs out of my skull here. Okay. So now keep in mind, we give him that 17 million. We're down to 15 million in cap space now. Okay. So the money is already just about gone, to be honest with you. Now, listen, you want to keep about $7 million in operating funds. We can run it right up to the limit if you guys want, because we know there's other restructures that could take place to free up that space that you need for money next year. So we could take it right up. We could say we got 15 million. So this is the big decision, man. Now, what if we did this? What if we clicked away for a second and what's another position we feel like we need? Cornerback. I think we agree, right? So on the cornerback cheat sheet, we got Jamil Dean, Jalen Watson at the top of the list. Let's see what these guys are asking for. Jamil Dean's asking for 13.1 million per year. So we could get him and Linderbaum and be under the cap, and we're done in free agency. right? Another player on my cheat sheet here that we liked was Jalen Watson. And you guys can go do your own research on why we like him. Now look at Jalen Watson. He's only $9 million per.
Get him.
See, that's to me, I would rather have Jalen Watson over Jamil Dean if it comes to those numbers holding true. And we got the numbers we can go with here with stick to the model, so we're gonna roll with it.
And Watson's on the right side of 30.
Right.
Jamil Dean is not.
Great point, Tim. Great point. Now I think Asante Samuel is out here somewhere too. Probably just better to do this. Yeah, Asante Samuel. Now look at his number. We know that's not realistic at 2.7, but what if you went and got Asante Samuel Jr. at say $5 million per? So you could see where we could get 2 cornerbacks for the price of 1. But keep in mind, defensive tackle is another position of need, right? So you're kind of narrowing it down. What do you want to do with this money? I feel like you got more options at cornerback than you do offensive line, personally. Linderbaum's kind of that slam dunk dude, right? So if we jumped over to defensive line and looked at what was available, how would this look? On our cheat sheet, we like Calais Campbell, David Onyemata at the top of the list. Okay. So David Onyemata is showing $9.2 million. All right. Now,
34.
What's that?
It's 34.
There you go. Right. And then Calais Campbell is 40 years old. He's showing $13 million. Now, I don't think it'll be that number. We can force the system to go down lower because it looks last year he signed for 5.5. So he's probably going to be no more than $7 million this year, I wouldn't imagine. So keep that in mind, all right, if you wanted to re-sign him. So the question becomes, what's the top priority, guys? Offensive line and Tyler Linderbaum. There's one other center we like in Connor McGovern as well, right? Or do we go offensive line, defensive line, or cornerback? For time's sake, we have to make a decision right now. What's the first position we want to prioritize?
It's just tough because I'm thinking ahead to the draft. And it's like, if we've done this, right? Let's say we don't go Linderbaum here, then we got to swing hard and fast for center.
Reach.
Reach for center in the draft.
What is Connor McGovern's cap hit?
Let's take a look real quick.
Because he overall grade last year playing significant stats at a 28-year-old 6'5", 318 center. He was a 69.1 with a 65.2 run block rate and a 73.4 pass block rate. That's 6th in centers, 15th overall.
They've got him at $12.9 million. That's what they got him listed at. Now I can cross-check real quick, spot track, and just take a quick gander to make sure we're not missing something here. It might be a scenario where on spot track he is actually a little bit cheaper, and we'll meet in the middle. Obviously, we'll play this smart here. Connor McGovern, they're showing now market value $16.2 million. Jeez, oh Pete. So he's right up there now with our boy Linderbaum. Linderbaum is actually showing $17.7 million. So we're pretty realistic in that 17 number. So yeah, if we're only paying $1 million more for Tyler Linderbaum, I want Tyler Linderbaum. I don't know how you guys feel, but
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Do we try and get Linderbaum in free agency and a corner? And then we go into the draft
to get D tackle, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that, Tim, probably there's no scenario here where it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Right.
We gotta kind of prioritize, right? And honestly, I think that's where some of us in the fan base disagree a little bit. There's a lot of people that think defensive tackle's top need. And I'm going, man, I really feel like center is your top need. Like, you've got to shore up that center position. So, and both answers, it's not like either of them are wrong. You can understand the argument to be made for both scenarios. But at the same time, it's like, why did you get your ass kicked last year?
Trenches, both sides.
It was both sides for sure. But, man, all we talked about all year was that offensive line. Like, Jordan Love played lights out with a bad offensive line. The running game was pretty much non-existent most of the year because of the run blocking. So it's tough, man. So I think what you could do here, if you kind of pinch some pennies, you could go Tyler Linderbaum and then try to go with a cornerback. Now, keep in mind, we already did get Trayvon Diggs. So the Jalen Watson signing to me is very, very appealing. It really is.
I agree. I like that over an Asante Samuel Jr.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go offensive line. We're going to sign Tyler Linderbaum to the $17 million that we talked about.
Pay that man his money.
We'll give him a He's 26 years old. We'll go 4 years. All right. We're going to go 17 million. Of course, he's going to accept it because they're showing his value a lot less. We want it to be realistic here. So, bang, there that is. We've got Tyler Linderbaum, and now we hop back over to let's look at D-line one more time here. Logan Hall, they're showing at 3.7 million. Okay, yeah, that's one I would like to. He's an ascending player in my opinion. Now, if we
only
go
26,
yeah, and if we go to over the cap or not over the cap, a spot track, they've got Logan Hall at 7.9. So realistically,
he play the 3?
What's that?
Is he a 3 tech?
Let's look real quick to see where his snaps were. To me, he's a smaller defensive tackle, so he probably is a 3 tech. He's not
6'6", 283. PFF had him listed as 66.8 overall grade.
Yeah, he's a and if you look at his grades, the thing that's appealing about Logan Hall is he's ascending. Like he's gotten better every year. His PFF grades, when you take a glance here, well, it's disappeared on me. Give me just a second here. Starting in 2023, a 52, 59, 66, right? So, and he's going to be 26 years old this year. He's definitely a 3 tech, Tim. That's more of his role there. And again, they're showing him here at 3 million or whatever it was, right? Yeah, 3.7. The market value on Spot Track actually has him listed at 7.9. So to be realistic, we need to meet in the middle. Let's say it's
5.5.
Yeah, 5 million. Will we be willing to pay $5 million for Logan Hall? That's the question. And if we are, let's go get our cornerback first and then come back to Logan Hall. That makes sense. So
I kind of like it. He was the 32nd overall in pressures. He was the 39th overall ranked D lineman. So he's a starter technically.
Yeah.
For $5 million, I'll take that.
So Jalen Watson is showing 9 million here. Asante Samuel is showing far less. I want to double check on Spot Track, make sure we're not being too unrealistic here. They're showing on Spot Track market value, Jalen Watson's 12.4. So we probably need to go to 10 to make that realistic. Okay. Will we be willing to pay Jalen Watson $10 million? We're not willing to pay Jamil Dean. Obviously, they're showing him at 12.4. Monteric Brown's an interesting one at 9.2. Trayvon Diggs, they actually had him listed a little bit higher at 7. Who's the other guy? We were talking about Asante Samuel Jr., wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed, though.
Think so?
I don't know who brought it up in the chat, but if we wanted him, we probably would have grabbed him last season. This time going into last season.
Well, there was all kinds of rumors that the Packers were in on signing him, and some people were saying he signed with Pittsburgh because he wanted to play in Pittsburgh over Green Bay. I don't know how much.
What do you guys think about Benjamin St. Juste? He overall grade last year of 75.6. He was the 11th graded out cornerback. He had a 77.1 coverage grade, 8th overall. His run defense grade was 66.8. If we could get him for,
7.5 is the number they got him at. And keep in mind, the Asante Samuel Jr., we should be able to get him for $2 million. Spot Track's got him at 1.2, so there's no site that has him over $2 million for Asante Samuel. Just keep that in mind.
St. Juste is 6'3", 200 pounds, 28 years old.
St. Juste, I'm going to try to find him here on the Spot Track side real quick. St. Juste they're showing his market value 1.7 million here. So we could probably get him for like 5 million if you want to go that route. What do you think, Tim? He's definitely not on my cheat sheet. I don't want to BS you, Jacob. He's not one that I've got marked. The guys I've got marked is Jamil Dean, Jalen Watson, Asante Samuel, Rasul Douglas bounced back with a great year last year, although he's old. Joshua Williams, Woozier, McCreary, Monteric Brown, and then of course Trayvon Diggs, who we've already signed. So I'm not going to BS you and say, yeah, St. Juste, I like him a lot, but I'm cool with signing him if that's who you guys want for sure. We realistically $5 million probably the mark we do there.
I'm okay with it. I'd lean towards Watson. I'd rather take a swing at Watson, but
pay a little bit more.
Those numbers are hard to lie with though on St. Juste.
Can you see his season? Has he been an ascending player, or is this kind of an outlier for him?
Who's that?
Benjamin St. Juste.
Let me see if I can find him on PFF real quick. Give me just a second here. St. Juste. They don't have him listed toward the top. Yeah, where is he at? They rank the free agents every year. And again, how much time did they put into it? I don't know. They're actually not showing him on the free agent list here. That's interesting. St. Juste. Here we go.
He's ranked 56 snap counts. So
he's ranked 301 as the free agent. His PFF grades were 59, He dropped to 47, and then this last year he jumped to 76, but he only played 378 snaps.
Do you have man versus zone grades on him?
Let's see. Coverage grade, run defense grade. Not on this screen, Tim. I'd have to go combing through PFF to try to find it. Overall grade, again, 76.3 is what they had him at last year. But again, starting in 23, he played 1,000 snaps. And in 24, he went to 859 snaps. And then last year, he played 378 snaps. So the overall PFF grade looks good, the 11th highest graded corner, but he only played 378 snaps. And I'm assuming he got hurt. I don't know. But
That's probably it.
But we are gonna make an offer to a corner here. We just need to. I think we got one. I'm voting Watson. Jacob's got St. Juice.
Talk about it. I'll talk about it for a minute, fellas.
I think that I'd rather go with a little more steady Eddie. I'd probably go with Watson as well.
Okay.
So with J. Cole.
I mean, they're both decent corners, though. That's why we're having this conversation. It'd be nice to find a scenario where you get both of them, but it's not going to happen.
I mean, especially if he really is, if we could get him for like 3 or 4 a year, that would be a no-brainer for me. But yeah,
I think if it's one or the other, I would pick Jalen Watson at this point.
I think I'd probably be more comfortable doing that as well.
We're going to have Clay break the tie here.
What tie are y'all asking me to break here?
You got to. Who is it? Are we going Watson or are we going Benjamin St. Juiced?
To me, it's not even close. I would go Watson over Juice. Now, the thing is, Watson's price is you're going to have to hit that 10 million mark, right? So, honestly, we brought back Trayvon Diggs. If we could get Asante Samuel at the 2 million, that's the one that kind of grabs my attention the most. But of all the top corners, if you were to kind of go all in at the cornerback position, my guy would be Jalen Watson, I believe.
I feel like he would have the most impact on the room coming in as a first-time Packer.
Yeah, and if we signed him at the 9 million that they're showing him at here, right? If we went that approach on, let's just say 2 years, you only got 6 million left in cap. So now you got to go try to get what we say a defensive tackle in Logan Hall, right? Is what we said, I believe. So that's it's either that or go cheaper at corner. And again, we're looking for an answer at cornerback. We're not looking just to, hey, let's get a guy in here to compete. You know what I'm saying? So,
and we talked about the draft, right? Are we willing? How with no first round picks, how early are we willing to swing at corner in this draft class? Because if you don't go early, it's going to be slim pickings.
Yeah. And St. Jude's market value showing 1.7. I mean, we could get them both if you wanted to and just tag it at 1.7. Of course, on here they're showing 7.5, so it's a little bit unrealistic. I feel like 5 is probably the number that would make that realistic. 5 million per. So that's the big question, right? Is Jalen Watson at 9 million or St. Jude at 5 million? That's essentially what we're talking about here, right? So with Jalen Watson at 9, you've still got enough cap to go get Logan Hall at the number that everybody's kind of showing. And again, he may blow that out of the water. I don't know, right? But we're just going with the tools that we've got here. So I guess that's what we'll do. We'll go Jalen Watson here, okay? Again, he's 28 years old. We'll have him – if we give him a 3-year deal, it's a 3 that's really a 2, right? We can get out of it as he approaches 30, which we know Goody loves to do. So you go out and you sign Jalen Watson, you're good to go there. Now, let's go back to Logan Hall and see if we can pull this off. And again, we'll kind of look at some of the numbers. They got him listed at 3.7 million. We're sitting at 6.3 under the cap. Let me go back to Spot Track. I want to make sure I didn't misinterpret that. Regardless, I feel like we've handled all the needs in the order in which we should have, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like we've handled that pretty good. They're showing Logan Hall at the 7.9. And on here, they're showing Logan Hall at the 3.7. So I'd say 5 million is a fair number based off of both the tools right in the middle. So what do y'all think? Do y'all want to go get Logan Hall? Because some of the other defensive tackles that I like on my cheat sheet was Calais Campbell, right? And on here, Calais Campbell was a lot more, wasn't he? What was he saying?
He's going to get at least 10 million probably.
Yeah. That's what they're showing on here anyway, right?
I like Logan Hall a lot. I think that, to me, would be a no-brainer.
Yeah, and Onyemata's out of price range now. We can't pull that off with the cap space at the moment. Yeah, and then Logan Hall, of course. Yeah, I think Logan Hall is the one. So you go and you bolster your 3-tech a little bit. You get Logan Hall. We'll try to be realistic here and take it up to – let's go to 4.5 because, again, they're showing him at 7 on other sites. And what's cool is he's 26 years old. What's that?
Oh yeah, I was going to say, how long do we go? Because he's only 26.
Yeah,
Give
I
him
would
a
say
4. That's
4
really
years.
a 3.
Yeah, 4. That's really a 3. That's the way I would approach him. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so there you
Got
go.
him.
All right, so again, recap. You guys remind me, who did we get in free agency here, man? That was blurry. I'm blurred out here. Like, I'm trying to think. We got
our boy Linderbaum.
Yeah, there you go.
We have a center.
How about that? So you go get Linderbaum, right?
Yeah, Watson.
You got cornerback Jalen Watson. All right. And then we also went defensive tackle Logan Hall, right? I would feel great about that free agency, boys. I feel like you filled some needs, you filled some holes. You kind of, to me, and that's the other thing too. We got Diggs. We got to count that as a free agent as well. So you went and got Trayvon Diggs. Your cornerback room is significantly better, adding Jalen Watson and Trayvon Diggs, I believe. And now you got Bobby Babich back there, going to bring kind of that all pro mentality to the coaching staff there, where he coached up a couple safeties to all pros while he was in Buffalo. So yeah, I like it.
Maybe you still use one of these, 6th or 7th round picks or something in a draft and grab a developmental type of corner too as well. It's puts us in a good position, going into the draft, I think, with these moves.
Number one Packer fan hits the nail on the head. He said, just like that, we broke. So, yeah. Welcome to free agency, right? And again, you can do some restructures to free up the $7 million in operating funds that you need, right? So, yeah. All right. Moving along to the draft. We ready to move on, boys? We good?
Do you guys have any interest in the fact that the Dolphins just released Bradley Chubb?
Oh, man. That's a name. Anytime these guys get cut, I'm like, there's a reason these teams don't want them, right? Immediately where my mind goes, but I don't know. He may be a decent football player still. Do you got anything on his PFF, Jacob? Anything at all? Let me wrap this segment up. Pull that up real quick, okay? Get his PFF. So if you guys are watching this back later, let us know, how do you feel about the free agency period we just walked through there. Again, we went center Linderbaum. We got cornerback Jalen Watson. We got defensive tackle Logan Hall. And also we brought back Trayvon Diggs at a great rate as well. So you added 2 potential starting cornerbacks, a starting center, and a 3-tech that's going to be there as a backup plan and work hand in hand with Devontae White in those nickel sets, as well as in that rotational aspect. As we've seen in the past, Devontae White hasn't been able to stay healthy. How do y'all feel about free agency? Let us know in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell icon. We greatly appreciate y'all.